Hello and welcome back to Russ Plays Games. Today I'm going to continue playing through Final Fantasy II. Had a little bit of trouble because I think my computer just had enough. For one day it was kind of like, what am I gonna do? Alright, so when last we left off we were kind of kicked out of the Castle of Baron and we explored the town. So now if I come back in here and I try to talk to these guys, we're ordered not to let you in until you're back with your missions completed. But you can actually open the door for them. Ha ha, jerks. Alright, so when those people were talking about chocobos, and they said they lived in round forests, well, let's battle. Alright, so this is what they were talking about. Here's parry, here's change. Okay? So if you change rows. You parry, you defend. Okay? Fight, typical command. Okay? The jump command is Kane's special attack. Item, if you go up, you can actually see here, this is how you change your equipment. This is their dominant hand, offhand. Alrighty, so here's the Chocobo's forest. Now, if we walk around in here, eventually we run into a place like this. We found a carrot. Now, if we walk up here, it says, smells like Chocobos. If we use the carrot here, we summon the big Chocobo. I'm not going to do that today. Now, if we had magic points, you see this white Chocobo here? If we had magic points, come here, you little punk. White Chocobo. He restores your MP. So if you want to, if you're like walking around outside doing something, and you need to have some transportation, or you need some MP, you can walk into Chocobo's forest most of the time. Now what's really cool about this game is, as before when we were in the battle, we were in the desert. Now if I'm out here on the grasslands, and I get into a battle. Come on, game. Where's my battle? You can see that we're on the plains. Now, one thing that this game did cut out was Cecil's Dark Knight ability. His ability to cast a wave of dark energy at the cost of some hit points. Not that it's a huge deal. And you can see that these guys are known as imps, which is what they were known as in the original Final Fantasy, and they weren't changed to goblins until later. But those are kind of the first enemies that you face. Okay. Now, when it says strike first up there at the top, that means that we get a free turn. Which means that enemies won't start attacking us until this turn. Now, if you've played a Final Fantasy game, basically from Final Fantasy V on, you'll notice that there was a little gauge in the HP where, usually where the HP maximum bar is. So it would show your current total and not your maximum total. Well, there's a reason for that. In this game, they just didn't include the bar. Basically, they just kind of went, when your character blinks, they're ready to go. That's how you know. But this was the first Final Fantasy to use the active time battle system. So right now I'm just kind of checking to see where Cecil's at. I usually like to get them to level 11 before I head over to the next area. What's really cool is, if you come over here, right on the coast, you fight on the beach! That is awesome. I love that attention to detail. So yeah, we're actually on the beach. Even though there's no beaches, we're actually on the beach. So if you ever played any of the Final Fantasy, like Final Fantasy 7, 8, or 9 on the PlayStation, they had some actual beaches where you could fight, and you would actually fight on the beach. But this game was the first one where you could fight on the beach. So yeah, grinding in this game kind of sucks a little bit. So for most of the major grinding that I'll be doing, because I can actually, up until like a certain place in the game, I won't have to grind in this version. Normally I'd probably grind if I was playing the hard type version of Final Fantasy IV, like on the PlayStation, or on the Game Boy Advance, or on the PSP or the DS. I would probably grind these guys out to level 12, which I would probably do off camera. Like, I probably would have come back with them already at level 12 and then been like, hey, you know, I spent like an hour grinding, and so, you know, now we're ready to go fight the boss. So yeah, this game is fairly easy for the first few hours of the game. Once you get to a certain point in the game, you're actually going to start getting, it's going to start getting a little harder. Now, the reason why Cain and Cecil gained a level, okay, so now Cecil has 221 hit points, and he's level 11. So if you look at his status, he has 1,155 points for a level up, okay. And Cain has 394. So we don't necessarily have to grind him all the way to level 11 if we want, but it certainly does help. Now when the screen flashes like that, it's very brief, but it kind of flashes yellow. That's a critical hit. Now the reason why Cain is doing more damage to the floating enemies than he is to like a normal enemy is because of his spear. He is strong against air-type enemies. And we will have bows and arrows in this game, and we will be using bows and arrows, because one of the characters that we will get later uses a bow and arrow. And so she will be using it, and it's a she. She will be using it, but that won't be for a while yet. Well, let's go ahead and go and do this. So this is the cave that we have to take. As you can see, it's the only cave we have access to. So one thing about the original Final Fantasies was they were fairly linear for the first few parts of the game. And honestly, it actually was a little bit better that way, just because it kind of gave you a storyline to follow. So that way you could just, you know, kind of, you know, it gave you a way to go. So you weren't just wandering aimlessly for hours on end, waiting for someone to tell you what to do or to get some kind of a thing. One of the things I wanted to show was this waterfall right here. When I was a kid, man, when this game, I was 11 when this game first came out, and I was just blown away by the graphics, like how the waterfall just fell like that. It was amazing, because we didn't have anything like that on the original Nintendo. So this leap from the 8-bit Nintendo to the 16-bit Super Nintendo was amazing. Now, if you see my previous Let's Play of Chrono Trigger, you'll know that that is one of my favorite games. This is my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time, is Final Fantasy IV, but Chrono Trigger is my absolute favorite JRPG of all time. So we're going to enter into the Misty Cave. Alrighty, well, we're going to kill some imps. We got a lot of them. And so this is actually my favorite Final Fantasy of all time. I absolutely love this game to death. It is so much fun. The plot, the character developments, some of the graphics in this game are pretty darn sweet. Like, I remember when I was a kid, like I said, I was 11 when this came out, and it was phenomenal looking. I mean, you'd look at this game and you'd go, holy cow. Because there was nothing like it at the time. About the only thing that could compare to this game on the Super Nintendo, besides other Final Fantasies and Chrono Trigger, was The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. And so a lot of people, this was kind of their first foray into JRPGs. And so for a lot of people, this was actually like one of the games that they wanted to own. Like, this was, like high technology. Like, people loved it. And so, yeah, it was just one of those games that a lot of people just thoroughly enjoyed. I absolutely love this game. Mostly because it's just the story, the characters, the plot, everything about it just works really, really well for the game and for the time. And I mean, the battle system's good. It doesn't slow down too much in terms of middle game. It still kind of keeps you riveted to the story. Like, you don't have moments where you're kind of like, why am I even doing this? Because for me, Final Fantasy VI, which was 3 on the Super Nintendo, was kind of that way. There were some points in that game where you were kind of like, why am I even playing this? It's boring. Because that was one of the things that they kind of did was, it's like, here in this one, go back. Who is it? In this one, a lot of, so if you walk over that square at any time, it automatically just runs over that. So if you actually leave this cave to save and then come back in, you'll have to go through all of the dialogue boxes again. Anyway, back to what I was saying. For this particular Final Fantasy, it was they did a lot of things right on this Final Fantasy. A lot of people have this view that Final Fantasy VI is their favorite, and one of the things that they did with Final Fantasy VI that they did over Final Fantasy IV was they went more for the individual characters and their stories rather than the overarching story, whereas this game goes for the overarching story. So you really spend a lot of time in this game focused more on the overarching story of why is Baron doing what it's doing? Why are things happening the way that they're happening? Why is this person doing this and why is that person doing that? Rather than with Final Fantasy III or 6 in Japan, I guess it's been restored on the PlayStation as well, as number 6. Why, it's like with that one, it's more like, why is this character acting this way? And why is this character acting this way? And why does this character feel like he has no hope left? And why does this character feel like they want to go in this direction? And so in the latter half of that game, you kind of feel like kind of lost story-wise, just because there really isn't much of a story. Wow, that was actually a pretty good grab. So basically, if you've ever played a modern Final Fantasy, the Cure 1 is your basic potion. This is a high potion. Just so you know. Just so you know. So that's actually a good grab this early in the game. So yeah, this one, so these will recover like a few HP, but this one will recover much HP. It's really good. And then later on in the game, we'll find Cure 3s, which are basically like X potions. So if you've ever played a Final Fantasy, you'll know what that is. So, let's go up here to the exit. Leave now! Is it a monster? Ones from Baron. Who are you? Return now, and I will not harm you. Show up! Do you still wish to go on? But thou must. We must deliver this package to the village of Mist. Then I must. The mist is gathering. Alrighty, we're first boss fight. So we'll have Kane jump, and we'll have Cecil attack. Now, if anyone's ever played Final Fantasy VI, then you'll probably know about these type of bosses. These were usually the first type of boss that they would come up with early in the game. And what they usually did was they consisted of a certain number of phases. And like, for instance, this one does a thing where it's going to do it. Yep, it turned into mist. So what it does is this thing turns into mist. And what you don't want to do is attack. So we're just going to parry. Just to kind of make time go fast. Because for some odd reason, Final Fantasy started doing this. They started making the first boss of the game kind of a trial boss where it's like a gotcha, you know? Don't attack it! Don't attack it, because it will hurt you. And it really does. Like, it has a breath attack that will kill you. When it says, now, get ready to fight, then you can start fighting. Won't take too long, because, I mean, we've mostly got it down now, so, I mean, gosh, 1 or 2 more hits and this thing should die. Maybe 3 hits, I don't know, 4 hits, something like that. Worried about it turning into mist. Oh, it attacked instead of turning into mist. There it goes. Alright, so that's the first boss of the game. So now, we can come out here, we're going to save. So honestly, it really doesn't make a difference if you save or not, or I mean if you use a tent or not at this point. And these are a new enemy, they're called Sandmans. They're weak to ice, but because we have no magic, we're kind of up a creek. So we just have to attack them. Fortunately, they're weak enough that we can just kill them in 1 hit. So yeah, they're not that hard. So yeah, we'll be seeing a lot of these enemies coming up. They're pretty basic. Just lets you know that you're getting into a new area. Cecil getting another level, so he's up at level 12 now. So we're going to go into the Village of Mist and find out what's going on here in, wait, what? Package opened automatically. Uh-oh, that doesn't look good, does it? We've brought this package to burn the village? Why? Mommy, Mommy! Who's that? My mom's dragon fell, so my mom did too. I've heard of the people with the power to summon monsters. They are callers. We defeated the dragon, so her mother is gone also. You've beaten my mother's dragon. We didn't mean to do this to your mother. His Majesty wanted to wipe out all the colors of this village and used us to do it. Incredible. I'm afraid we must do away with her too. Cain, she's just a kid. You dare renounce your loyalty to His Majesty? Forget it. Never again will I follow such an order. Well, Cecil, I knew you'd say so. I won't let you do it alone. Cain, I owe His Majesty much. Still, I cannot disgrace the Dragoons. Then will you... But Baron is the mightiest country in the world. It's impossible for us to challenge his might alone. We must gather other countries. And you know, we must rescue Rosa. Thank you, Cain. Not for your sake. Let's get out of here fast. What about that girl? We can't leave her here alone. Listen, it's dangerous here. Come with us, okay? No! Let's take her. No, go away! Wait, please. Go away. I hate you. I hate you all. This is a story battle. Don't do anything. Why? You'll see. No! In her anguish, she summoned a Titan. Holy crap! Wow! That is insane. And in doing so, she changed the fundamental landscape of the world, it looks like. Oh, she is alright. Cain? Cain? Cain! I can't stay here any longer. I have to escape from Baron with this girl. Oh. Well, we can't go back that way. As you can see, whatever path existed between these mountains is gone now. So there's only one way we can go, and that's across the desert. And as you can see, there's a little village up here. She must rest. That's automatic. You don't actually do this. Welcome. Oh, take her to the room. Hurry up. Money? No, that's okay. Go ahead. Thank you. Yeah, he won't charge you now, but he'll charge you later. Excuse me. You okay? I haven't heard your name yet. I know I've done an awful thing. I can't ask for your forgiveness. But at least let me protect you, please. What I love about that is that that event is gonna, like, still haunt Cecil throughout this game. It is amazing, the character development in this game with that. I finally found you, Cecil. Wait. His Majesty decided that all the colors of mist are too dangerous to be left alive. What? Hand her over. No! So what you're going to want to do is take out this first guy. Now normally, what you can do is you can take out all 3 of the soldiers and the officer runs off. If you want more experience points, okay, you do this. Takes about 3 or 4 hits to kill this guy, maybe more. Just keep attacking him though, and eventually he'll go down. And then basically once you have him down, then you just kill the last guy and you get a ton of experience points. If you just kill the 3 soldiers, then he runs off. The officer literally is just like, oh no, my 3 soldiers are dead, I gotta run. So yeah, it's sometimes you miss. That's what I mean. His hit percentage is really low. But yeah, if you just keep whittling away at him, he'll eventually go down. In fact, I've never needed to heal in this battle. Ever. Should be almost dead. That was a good hit. But as you can see, that guy only attacks when the officer says attack. But I think once you kill him, he just attacks anyway. Just because he doesn't know what else to do. He's like, oh, my officer's dead, so I'm just gonna... And so now we took care of these guys. So there you go. We got 880 experience for that battle, folks. That's why you want to kill the officer.
Did I get you in trouble? I'm sorry.
It's for me to apologize. Well, I know you can't forgive me, but...
But you protected me. I'm Rydia.
Caller Rydia joined. Now we have a new person in our party. The Summoner Rydia. I'm going to call her Summoner. I know they call her a caller, but... that was because we didn't know any better. She's a Summoner. Okay. So, first things first. We're going to move her to the back row, because she's level 1, and she is horrid. She has a rod, a cap, a leather armor, and an iron ring, which is kind of like if you've ever played the original Final Fantasy on the NES. It's kind of like the bracelets. So like they had like the opal bracelet and the copper bracelet and that kind of stuff. So the iron ring is kind of the same thing. As you can see, she has a 3 attack, 6 defense, and 4 magic defense. She needs 44 experience points for level up. She has 30 out of 30 hit points, 10 out of 10 magic points, strength of 3, agility of 4, vitality of 2, wisdom of 8, will of 5. She has 1 attack at 3 damage, and 40% chance to hit, which means she's not going to be doing very good. Her defense is 0 times 6. So basically, she's horrible. And 25% of the time, she will dodge. She has a magic defense of 0 times 4, and a magic defense of 4%. Magic defense percent of 4. So, that's her. Okay. So we come over here. Teller has brought up his daughter Anna alone, but Anna ran away. Oh, darn. Well, we might keep a lookout for that guy somewhere. So we come over here, we see that this guy sells basically the same thing. He sells these Ether ones, but they're 10,000 GP for one of them. So, yeah, we're not going to be buying those anytime soon. There's nothing in that pot. Let's go upstairs. Kaipo special refreshment for desert parched throats. It's actually supposed to be parched. I always read that as parched. I never even noticed that before, that it was perched. Alright.
I'm on my way to Fable, but a strange old man is denying the way in the watery pass.
Only the Damkian royalty can enter the cave antlion to the east of Damkian.
Welcome. We have few customers these days because of the monsters.
Well, that's alright. We'll figure it out. Alright, so we're not going to be getting any armor upgrades for Cecil anytime soon. So what we're going to see here is we have cloth, leather, and an iron ring, which is basically it. So we don't absolutely need anything. Let me see here.
Underground waterway is northeast of Kaipo, but 8 big sea snakes are blocking the way.
8 big sea snakes, huh?
Anna fell in love with a man, but Tella didn't allow her to see him, so they ran away.
Interesting. We've heard about this man named Tella and his daughter Anna. Welcome to Kaipo of the Knamkian Desert. So basically, this is just the same training room that we had before. This is just so if you didn't get it in the beginning, or if you missed a concept, get out of the way, man! Jeez. Do you see that, viewers? That dude was in my way. Alright, so here they sell a rod, a staff, a short bow, and some iron arrows. We won't need anything right away. There's a reason for that. We're not going to be using... bow and arrow is notoriously inaccurate as a weapon. There's an ether one in that pot. Let's talk to this lady.
There are front and rear rows in the party's battle formation. Place weak ones in the rear row. In the rear row. Blah. I can't speak. The Damkian Castle in the north governs this area. The Crown Prince sings beautifully as a bard.
Uh-oh. Not a bard.
The girl from Baron was kept from falling down. She kept calling a name. Do you know Cecil?
Wait, what? What? I'm Cecil. Hey, wait a minute.
Rosa!
Rosa.
Cecil. Don't leave me, Cecil.
Okay, so, yeah, basically she says the same thing. Let's go talk to this guy.
We need sand ruby to cure the fever, but it is in the lair of the monster called Antlion.
And if you look at the books, it says the best remedy for the desert fever is the sand ruby. Alright, well, we've basically done everything we possibly can. Gosh, get out of the way, people. Holy moly. Can't walk anywhere in this town. Alrighty, so we're going to come out here, and we're going to save. Oh, so one thing I forgot to do, I'm going to show it off here. So, Riddy is a magic user, being a summoner, or a caller in this game. So, she doesn't have any white magic spells. She doesn't have any black magic spells yet. But she does have one call spell, or a summon spell, and that's the Chocobo. So basically, what the Chocobo does, is it, the Chocobo spell basically summons a Chocobo to come and fight. And basically what it does is she just has those little summon orbs come out, and then the Chocobo just comes out and attacks the enemy. Okay? We probably won't use it all that much right now. The place that we'll probably end up using it would be for the next boss. Perhaps. And what I might do is, just to kind of demonstrate it here, is if I go down here, hit Chocobo, go to that, you'll see it'll kill the Sandpede in one hit. So that's what she does. She turns gold, summons the Chocobo, it comes, kicks the thing, and kills it. Iridia gained a level, learned Ice 1. Iridia gained a level, learned Cure 1. Yeah, she's going to be gaining levels like a madman in this part. Because she is, well... But now, since I only have 3 HP, or 3 MP, and I don't really want to use, and I really don't want to have to use an Ether 1 in a battle, I'm just going to attack with Cecil. There we go. Iridia gained a level, learned Sight. Okay. So what the Sight spell does, for those that have never played a Final Fantasy game before, the Sight spell is a white magic, and when you use it, it just lets you see the area, so basically like you're seeing it from like, I don't know, 5,000 feet in the air or something like that. So you can kind of see where you're at in the world, okay? So down in the lower left there, that green kind of patch is where we started, okay? And where we want to go is, you can kind of see the coastline, and then there's like a little desert out by the coastline, and then if you follow the mountain range in the upper right, in about the center right upper portion, there's a small little kind of a panhandle of desert. That's where we're going to go next. That's our destination. And it probably won't be in this episode, but basically we can just kind of walk around and gain some levels and just kind of, you know, have fun. Ideally we want Rydia at about level 5, okay, before we enter the cave. More, better, but doesn't matter. Now, one of the things that's pretty interesting is if I have an item here, I have my rod. If I throw it, it actually does a decent amount of damage. And that's probably the best way to actually use a lot of the weapons that you have for those type of characters, especially in this game. So let's see if we can do that again. We'll throw the rod at this little larvae and see what it does. It did 28 damage and it killed the larvae, so that's actually pretty good. So yeah, we're just gonna gain one more level and I'll go in and go to the inn, and then we'll save, and then we'll call it an episode. So here, what's nice is if you throw something like a rod, it'll hit things in the back row. So a lot of times, if you noticed before, when I would try to hit creatures that were kind of in the rear of all of the different creatures, and this is what happens if she fights normally. She's going to miss like 90% of the time. She is horrible at doing that. Gosh, I am trying to gain a level. I'm probably going to be like 1 XP. 3 experience points. 3! Come on! Son of a... One more battle, man. Like, freaking 1 imp. I mean, jeez. Come on. Ay, ay, ay. And I can't even show you how good Blizzard is against the Sandman because she has 1 MP. Just trying to gain 1 more level here. Come on. There we go. There we go. So she learned Lightning 1. That's what we needed to learn. Alright. So let's go up here. Gosh, I'd be done right now if I'd gotten that 3 experience points. Alright. So we're going to use the 50 gold. Yeah. Now that she's actually hurting.
Oh no, 50 gold, man.
Screw you! Well, let's go outside and save. Sorry, my Xbox 360 controller here is kind of wonky. The directional pad on it's a little wonky. Alrighty. So, next time on Let's Play Final Fantasy 2 or 4, we're going to head north to the underground waterway. What awaits us there? Besides 8 giant sea snakes? Maybe? Find out next time on Let's Play Final Fantasy 2. My name is Russ, and this is Russ Plays Games. I'll see you next time.